But now I'd like to shift gears, and in honor of it being, of course, Women's History Month, I'd like to now welcome in our special guest today, Maggie Vo, the Managing General Partner and Chief Investment Officer at Fuel Venture Capital. So, Maggie, thank you so much for being with us today. And excited to talk to you, obviously, woman to woman here, about the ways in which startups are trying to progress with so many of these women leaders. So give us your insights here.
Hi, Jenny, Alex. It's great to be here, especially on the day that the market is up, and with a little bit more positive sentiment. It's very great that during the Women's History Month, when we celebrate that, we highlight the remarkable female leaders who are making waves in the finance, tech, and business world. One of my favorite in the public market is actually Simo. She's the CEO of Instacart, and the reason that I like her so much is because under her leadership, Instacart went public in the most challenging IPO environment at the end of 2023. Even though a lot of company in the private market was very hesitate and they laid the plan a little bit, she just pushed forward. And I believe that, it's pay off. 2024, Instacart stock rose more than 80% because the company gave the public market what it has been asking for, which is profitable growth and operational efficiency. And I think that in this world, in the finance world, the tech world, we need more female like her, who tackling on up the challenging, who building the company and taking to the public market and turn it into a very thriving public company.
Maggie, I think this is really important, and obviously it's a powerful message, and just like hearing some of those stats, it's surprising. But this is a show targeting the younger demographic. Maybe prospective future entrepreneurs down the line, both men and women. As someone who's in the world of venture capital and speaking with founders and startups on a daily basis, I'd imagine, what are some of the pitfalls that you see? Relatively new entrepreneurs falling into? What would your advice be to those prospective entrepreneurs?
Well, one of the things that, one of the statistic that is still very sad, even though the venture capital landscape is evolving, is, we often saying that the female founded startup nowadays only receive less than, 2% of the total VC funding. It's actually hard to believe that if you think that women only account for only 2% of the idea. And that figure actually has not changed at all over the past decade. And we believe that, a lot of that is caused by, female founder have very limited access to the fund that's led by female GP. That's why when, at the helm, at the Fuel Venture Capital, I always try to make sure that, we're going out, interacting with female founders, making sure that they have access to us, access to the resource, to our mentorship, so that when they pitch, when they go to the fund, they know what to pitch and they know where to go.
So I do feel like this is unfortunately somewhat of a snowball effect, where I do believe it's true that more and more women founders are more likely to hire women, and so on and so forth. So how do you go about sort of advising and advocating for that change in a cycle? Because as we know, it's very hard to break a lot of these habits and sort of, I'd say, somewhat of regular notions that companies have established.
Yeah, so every time, we fix something, you have to fix from the top, right? Because everything leaked from the roof. So, the way that I feel we want to change that narrative is, one is we encourage more wealthy women to become limited partners so that they can fuel the female-led innovation. And at our VC fund, we want to make sure that there's always a woman at the table. So you have the female GP who can write check and lead routes, who can, listen to the other female founders and solving the problem. And then, when you're working with them, you're helping them understanding the problem they solving.
Yeah, and I think that that's a great point. And we're so thankful for you bringing this insight to us, as I do think this is a majorly under-discussed and underrepresented area of finance, and specifically within venture capital. So appreciate it, and appreciate you coming on and sharing those great thoughts here in honor of International Women's Day, the month of March, obviously celebrating women. So thank you so much, Maggie Vo, the Managing General Partner and Chief Investment Officer at Fuel Venture Capital.